In the 18th and 19th centuries, Britain developed a system that reshaped lives across continents. It was not a prison system in the modern sense. It was called transportation, the forced removal of tens of thousands of poor men, women and children to distant penal colonies. This is the real history of how it worked. By the early 1700s, Britain faced rapid population growth, urban overcrowding, and widespread poverty. Cities like London expanded faster than housing, sanitation, or employment could support. Petty crime increased, theft of food, clothing, or small sums of money. Prisons were overcrowded, expensive, and considered ineffective. Executions, once common, were increasingly criticized as excessive for minor crimes. The government searched for an alternative. Transportation was introduced as a legal punishment under the Transportation Act of 1718. Instead of execution or imprisonment, convicted individuals could be sent overseas for 7 years, 14 years, or life. They would be removed from British society entirely. The system served multiple purposes: punishment, deterrence, and colonial labor supply. At first, most transported convicts were sent to North America. Contrary to popular belief, most transported individuals were not violent criminals. They were overwhelmingly poor. Many were convicted of minor offenses: stealing bread, cloth, tools, or livestock. Women were transported for crimes such as shoplifting or forgery. Children as young as 10 were sentenced. The law treated poverty-related crime as a threat to social order. The American War of Independence ended Britain's ability to transport convicts to the colonies there. As a result, prisoners accumulated in hulks, decommissioned ships moored on the Thames. In 1787, Britain began transporting convicts to Australia, starting with New South Wales. This marked the beginning of one of the largest forced migrations in British history. The journey to Australia lasted between 6 and 8 months. Convicts were held below deck, supervised by naval officers and surgeons. Conditions varied depending on the ship and the period. Mortality rates were initially high, but declined over time as reforms improved hygiene and nutrition. The voyage itself was considered part of the punishment. Upon arrival, convicts were assigned work. Some labored on roads, buildings, and farms. Others were assigned to private settlers as servants or laborers. Daily life was strictly regulated. Punishments existed for disobedience, but the system was primarily designed to extract labor rather than impose constant physical punishment. Many convicts eventually earned conditional freedom. Female convicts made up a smaller but significant portion of those transported. Some were assigned as domestic workers. Others married fellow convicts or free settlers. Children born in the colonies were considered free. Over time, penal colonies developed into permanent settlements, blending punishment with colonization. Not all convicts survived transportation or colonial life. Deaths occurred during voyages, from illness, accidents, or harsh conditions. However, many survived, adapted, and built new lives. Detailed records were kept: trial transcripts, ship logs, and assignment registers. Transportation was bureaucratic, systematic, and documented. By the mid-19th century, attitudes changed. Critics argued transportation was costly and morally questionable. Australian settlers increasingly opposed the arrival of convicts. Transportation to Eastern Australia ended in 1850 and to Western Australia in 1868. The system was replaced by domestic prisons. Transportation reshaped Britain and its colonies. It removed thousands of poor individuals from British cities and contributed to the population of Australia. Many modern Australians trace ancestry to transported convicts. The system stands as a reminder of how poverty, law and empire intersected in British history.